I'll be back in a couple minutes. Actually, all of our employers left a little bit early today.
Oh,
Are you searching for a job?
I am.
Oh, okay. Let me get your information.
Okay.
And then I'll get you the information.
Okay.
What kind of job are you looking for?
Well, I can give you my resume.
Great.
I'm sorry to get it.
Okay, they just
And you know what? I have one suggestion, because a couple of these I wanted to come to.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of people that are not unemployed, but they're underemployed.
Right. Okay.
And I'm wondering if you could think about doing some of these in later hours.
Good idea.
That's what I thought.
I can do that.
Yeah, and because like I know like my boyfriend is looking for a job as well right now, and he cannot make these hours. I even thought about bringing his resume, but I think he needs to be in person to do that. But if there could be evening hours, if people are willing to do that.
That's great, and we can do that.
Yeah.
Do the weekdays work for you?
The weekdays work for me, but again, like today, I'm a consultant, so I had a couple phone calls come up, and you know, and when the client calls, right now I have to answer to the client because those are the last two jobs I have right now.
Right.
But I'm looking for something more than that.
Great. Okay, let's see what you got there. Retail consultant. So what is an independent retail consultant exactly?
I do pretty much everything. I've worked on advice for zoning with the city, with our aldermans, everything to inventory assortments and marketing, advertising.
So you worked with the alderman before on ward issues?
I have not worked with Joe Moore.
Okay.
I actually have worked with Harry Osterman, and that's the advice I've been giving to a client recently, because I lived in Edgewater until 2 years ago. Okay. And so I'm, you know, while they neighbor each other, you know, I did meet Joe Moore. I have been following him and have had some dialogue, but I've not worked with him on a project.
Okay. And so what kind of projects do you work with? You said something about zoning.
So it basically, I guess, and if you look, if you look through, I have a experience deep with Nordstrom.
We have some square chairs over there.
Oh, that's fine. And when I was with them, we went through some deep issues with, sorry, I took an Uber, so my phone's in my pocket. We had some deep issues with zoning to get that Michigan Avenue store.
Okay.
I started with them at their second store in the Midwest.
Oh, wow.
And so I had seen a deep history of the red tape that can go up.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually so stupidly over parking. So the client I'm working with now, unfortunately, his family, I should say, owns the restaurant adjacent to the restaurant pop-up shop he wants to do. And they don't, he I think miswrote the business plan because they were like, well, how are you going to do food? Right. You know, and you know, and so he got shut down, and it was just in the way he wrote it. It's like literally the food's going to be done. There's a kitchen next door. The food's just going to go through.
Explain it correctly.
Exactly.
In a way that they could use, and they shut it down.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's going back to the table, and I'm confident he'll get it eventually. Yeah.
So do you write like zoning plans or?
No.
What?
I just provide advice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like zoning, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Up zoning, down zoning, variances, just the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Okay.
So I just provide advice based on my work experience.
Great. Cool. And what are you searching for right now?
I'm looking to get into sales, customer service, or, you know, maybe not for profit. You know, not for profit marketing, I should say. Direct.
Profit market.
Yeah, I'm looking for a change in my career path.
Right.
I don't want to go back to retail. My kids are now going to college, and I don't want to work from home and do freelance work for the rest of my life. I mean, it sounds great, but it really isn't.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it sounds like you could sleep in. But,
or like today,
or the
you
opposite.
have plans,
Yeah.
and then you have, you know, like I said, when the client calls,
Right,
you have to
jump.
you have to jump.
You
So
have to jump.
yeah, which is always the case. It's not like I'm looking for 9 to 5. I traveled a lot in my work history,
Right.
but I'm looking for something. I'm looking for a second career. I feel like I'm always coming out of retirement.
Right. I own a small business myself.
You do?
And Bill Morton Promotions.
Okay.
I'm the president of the chamber.
Yeah,
I'm
I recognize you.
All
Yeah.
this stuff. And we host these job fairs once a month. But it doesn't, it's not like sleeping in. It's like working more to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like it never ends.
Yeah.
It's like 365, 24/7, always thinking about it, always doing it. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Independent contractor or small business, home-based business owner.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's a lot of work. But I'm fortunate enough that I can volunteer with the chamber. And I spend most of my time helping people.
Yeah.
Just getting up to speed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did miss a couple great employers that could really, from like state of Illinois and do this, but I got their cards.
Okay.
And if you don't mind, I can. You take text?
Yes.
I can text you their cards.
Yes.
And can I text them your resume?
Yes. Absolutely.
So we'll make a connection for you.
That would be fantastic. I
That's really what
appreciate
needs to happen. That's really important.
Yeah. I'm sorry I missed it.
No, it was like just like a trickle. It's like we had some great employers. Like all these people are building employers.
I think I did. I reached out to you because I was like, all of a sudden there was like, I remember hearing something like a month ago about November 13th, you know, and I do have a very promising job prospect in my hands right now, but I'm waiting on it. But I was like, it doesn't hurt to go to this, you know, because I was planning on it anyway. And then I was like, oh, I don't have the information. I can't find the information.
Yeah,
So thank you for
places.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, while I was going, I'm just like going, just trying to get some more people to come in.
Yeah.
Because there's so many great things. So I've got 2 cards, one card. I've got one really good card for you.
Okay.
And I will ship that over to you.
Okay.
And he's got like 40 jobs and stuff.
Okay.
And then see who's the front of it. He's been he's very well connected with the state of Illinois. And I think he's a top HR guy. And then they've got any kind of job you can think of. So there may be a fit for you with that.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm looking for somewhere to utilize my skills
You
and
have
shift.
maybe you want to take a picture of the car. That'll be easier since I have it on me right now. Yeah, the reason why I asked was only, you know, I need to know everything I need to know about something.
Yeah, it's not pretty. That's the problem, and that's why, like I said, I don't do that work particularly, but in this case, I happen to know the alderman he's working with.
Right.
So I offered, thank you. I offered my opinions as much, you know, and my advice as much as I could, because it's with, you know, I'll tell you, it's with Harry Osterman. Yeah, who I've found to be very accommodating.
Great.
And very helpful. Yeah, in things I did in the past, and even within like volunteer work in my community. I raised my kids in Edgewater, so I lived there about 20 years.
Okay.
And I've been now in Rutgers Park almost 2.
Oh, whereabouts?
In Edgewater?
In Rogers Park.
Oh, in Rogers Park, I'm off North Shore in Sheridan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's nice.
so it's really nice. We like it very much. And you know, a lot of our friends, or my kids went to NCA in Edgewater, so it was a conglomerate of families between the two neighborhoods.
Right.
So we got very familiar with Rogers Park.
That's
And,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
We live right by the 400. We're like, oh, we can walk and go see a movie. It's
Oh, that's
fantastic.
great. Yeah. We held the Chicago Comedy Film Festival there
Oh,
for many years.
Wow.
And not this year, they went over to Columbia College.
Okay.
Because the head of it was a teacher at Columbia College. She gave them a special treatment. But I brought them in. They were doing stuff in Chicago and LA and New York. And I suggested to them to join the chamber
Yeah.
and to do it in Rogers Park. And they did it in Rogers Park for 5 years. And then they moved to Rogers Park. I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Well, it's like my boyfriend that I live with now, he was from Calumet City, and he was moving up here with me. And I told him, I was like, Rogers Park, when we were looking for a place, I was like, it's the only North Side neighborhood that went Chewy Garcia.
It's true.
You know,
It's true.
it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's the most dynamic, and he's an artist, so it's like, I was like, it's so artistic,
Oh, yeah.
so dynamic, so diverse. I was like, it's the right place to be.
The lake, the people,
Yeah,
the lots of small businesses, the whole thing.
yeah,
It's a total package.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine just opened a restaurant, and she's been a server. My son actually worked with her,
Oh, wow.
and that's how I got to know her. And the food is phenomenal.
What restaurant?
Archie's, right near the Loyola L stop. You need to go. It's really good. It's really,
Yeah,
really.
I've heard about it.
Roberta's amazing.
I've heard about it, but
Yeah.
it's been on the down low. She's not promoting it.
I know. I
The
keep
way I
telling her
used
that.
to.
Yeah.
Like, I heard of it, and I was like, I gotta go there. And it just, like you said, the job fair.
Can I say
But-
something between you and I?
Of course.
Because I feel this is actually going really well,
Yeah.
meeting with you. And if I did one thing well today by coming to this, you know,
Yeah.
just literally talk about on the down low. She's not a Joe Moore fan, and yeah, and a lot of people feel that way.
Right.
And so because I suggested to her some things through the Alderman's office, and
She said no. Nobody
Yeah.
was there.
yeah. So
That's great. Yeah.
you know, I think she'll make her way on her own. The food speaks for itself.
I'll stop by.
Yeah, you
I
need
will
to.
stop by.
It's really
Looking
good.
forward to meeting her, stopping by, trying her wares. Yeah. And you know, I don't know what the seating's like, but we're looking for places to meet with people and have little meetings.
It's pretty
And hers is
small. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty small. But like my son, like I said, he worked with her. So they do catering events.
Oh, okay.
She actually has done some catering events.
Oh, cool.
And so he helps out with those.
Right.
And he said that while they started small, now that she's kind of gotten her feet wet, she's looking at expanding. Yeah,
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's great, yeah.
yeah.
Maybe I can help her get some catering jobs.
Yeah.
A lot of parties, a lot of different annual events.
Oh, I'm sure she'd love that. Yeah, because my son is like always, you know, he's at Northeastern at college, so he's in a dorm, so I'm his
Northeastern.
physical astronaut.
Northeastern Illinois University.
Yeah.
I go there.
Oh, no, yeah, NEIU.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the one that's right
I
here. Right?
Foster.
Yeah.
I sponsor St. Louis. I'm there maybe nowadays, now that I'm running that so much, but at least once a week.
Okay.
I get a lot
Wow.
of my interns from Northeastern.
Really?
My campaign manager is currently a student at Northeastern.
Wow.
We started the campaign in Northeastern when we didn't want anyone to know about it yet, just keep it out of Rogers Park.
Yeah.
And Northeastern has been so supportive of everything that we do. They gave the chamber an office there.
Wow.
We've got it going on at Northeastern.
I need to tell him that
Yeah.
because he needs to go check that out because yeah, his physical address is here. He boats here, you know. But that's
Northeastern
where he's lived.
Is he at the Hive?
Yeah, he's living. He's actually moving out, but he was living there.
Yeah.
But he's been there 2 years.
They're so, you know, they can't fill the Hive enough. And
That's
and
the
when
problem.
they can't fill it, they have to pay the state.
Yeah,
for those rooms. So what they're talking about is, just on the down low, what they're talking about is giving scholarships for the high,
yeah.
for housing scholarships. So that they can fill it, they don't have to pay it, and it's a benefit for the students.
Yeah, but that's the problem we ran into, actually.
Really what?
Yeah, that our costs went up because we're paying outright. He has a very solid college fund. And so as they couldn't fill, the cost of the
Went up.
dorm, yeah, raised. And
I
then,
didn't hear about this,
and
yeah.
then there were a lot of students coming in on scholarships that were free. There started to be some issues with safety and other things in the dorm.
They wouldn't let me in, I'll let you know that.
So,
I wanted
and
to
that's
take a tour, and they said, no, Bill Morton does not come in here. They are secure from Bill Morton at the high.
well, and I always found it to be just fine. It's like, that's why I was like, Cameron, I was like, how are these people getting away with it? He's like, Mom, I did not know our school had that big of a security
I can go to
deployment
any
until there
like
was a
that.
gun threat. And yeah, and they went on lockdown, and you could see it out the windows. He said, I never knew we had that much security here.
Wow.
So they took
No,
care of
they
it.
do.
They're
They really
doing,
do have a lot of security.
yeah, they're doing a really good job. But that was the thing. The cost was finally like when I'm living in whole first floor.
Right.
That's 3 bedrooms, and I'm paying almost as much in rent for his dorm.
Right.
Well, the dorms are very nice, but that's the thing. But the scholarship money, that's the thing. Other people were picking. It wasn't just the state. Other people were picking up the tab.
Right.
They were raising the rates. His really good roommate, his dad said, pull the plug early. We didn't. And I don't regret it because I wanted him to live on campus. But then it also turned out he had a revolving door of roommates that were just capitalizing on that, and they didn't finish their schooling. They just stayed there for the experience, and left. Yeah. And so we had a little bit of a different experience, and that's why.
That's a different side I haven't heard of.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to
No, that's
sound
okay.
like,
That's good.
I'm trying to put it
Yeah.
politely,
No,
but it
that's
was.
all good. I talked
yeah.
to the, I'm not gonna tell her anything, but the new president, Dr. Gibson, I go to her open office meeting whenever she has them.
Yeah.
I hear her take on it, like right across the table. I hear her take on it.
Yeah.
She's due. And then.
It's always good to hear two sides.
And I spent a lot of time in student government because my campaign manager and a longtime intern, Leone, she is.
I've seen her on the Facebook
She's
page.
becoming a rubbish truck person really quick.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I thought she was the way
No,
she.
she's at Northeastern.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't know that.
And she lives with my mom there.
Okay. Because she seems really up and up about the neighborhood. I see her posts. Yeah. Oh, nice.
So, and the thing about it is, like, usually the interns, they give them certain set hours, certain set projects.
Yeah.
She, last summer, was it last summer or 2 summers ago? Anyway, 2 summers ago, and she said, oh, Bill, I want to learn everything I can about the Chamber of Commerce. I want to take over the Chamber of Commerce one day. I said, well, you're not eligible because you don't own a business.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'll start a business in Rogers Park. I said, really? Okay, you're very serious. She said, I want to shadow you. For all the time you work, I want to work. The whole summer since not going to school. So she shadowed me for 60 hours.
Wow.
60 hours a week. Everything I did, she did. Everything I did, she saw, she studied, she learned. She stuck with me for over a year.
Nice.
So, that's really something.
Yeah.
She's so incredibly intelligent. She's got it going on. And
Northeastern is a great
Northeastern,
school.
Yeah.
And that's when my son picked it. They said that I know several graduates at my age from Northeastern. I said, Cameron, every single one of them are successful in their career path that they chose.
Right. Yeah.
So I said, I think you made a brilliant choice and a very economical one.
Oh, yes.
That's what I talked to both my children about because my daughter's about to make the same decision. what about advanced education? You know, think about that with the college fund, you know, because it's hard work.
Yeah, Trudy got to go to school and she got scholarships the whole time. She started at Rice.
Yep.
She got 2 years in Rice because it's more affordable.
Yep.
And then she went into Northeastern and she graduated this year. And she just graduated and she's on purpose.
Fantastic.
So
And
for business and political science.
yeah, fantastic. And that's exactly what I preach. Is that's not the route I took.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but I don't want to see my kids take the route I took. I don't think it needs to happen that way.
You did something different.
Yeah, I went to UIC and student loans. I got some scholarship money, but not enough.
Did you pay it back yet?
So yeah, it was actually a Christmas gift, which I always say was the best gift I ever got from my former father-in-law.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got a note saying you paid off my student loans.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, I was very, very fortunate. Very
I
fortunate.
know a lot of people who are stuck for years.
Yep.
Their whole life.
Yeah, like I'm in my 40s now, and I remember my sister who's older, she just turned 50, and she was saying, like, when she was in her 40s, she's like, you have no idea when that happened. She's like, you know, my friends are in their 40s, and they're still bitching about their student loans.
Right. Right.
It's a horrible
I have a friend
deal.
whose parents had to go to the Heartland Cafe.
Yeah,
And she said she didn't want to go. She knew she'd be out there.
yeah. And see, that's it.
She just turned 40. Yeah.
I wanted, well, I suggested the Art Institute to my daughter, and she definitely would be a candidate. Didn't want to deal with it. The schools she applied to are the schools where she can get money,
Right.
and I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though, like I said, she has a college fund, but she's thinking secondary education. How far is this money gonna, you know?
Might not be able
I need to
get
stretch it.
that,
Yeah.
But later on, and want to get money.
Yeah, so anyway, that's just,
Cool.
that's me,
Cool, yeah.
That's Carrie. You got to know me a little bit about my life.
That's excellent. Cool.
So, and by the way, if you ever, you know, please reach out to me if you're looking for volunteer help at the Chamber of Commerce or on your campaign, because I am following your campaign online.
Thank you so much.
And I'm very undecided. Like I said, I've had some interactions here with Joe Moore. It's not just, I'm trying to put the blinders on what people tell me, but it's my personal interactions. I've gone to some of his events, and I haven't been impressed. And I've worked, obviously, with other people, and I worked on that.
You know what it almost is supposed to be.
Yeah, and he seemed like he was just for votes. Like I'll just tell you, I went with a friend to one of his Follow Me Fridays, just because it happened to be right down the street from my house. So it was an easy meet, and she's right off the Howard L stop. We went to that Hampton Loyola, yeah, the rooftop one, and he swore he knew me before, and I was like, no, I've actually never met you. And he's like, well, your face looks really familiar. And I'm like, nope, never met you before. You know, and then my friend said she does some work. She's a veteran, and she's going to school again. Now she's retired, and she's going to work for Veteran Services. Well, she delivers toiletries and various things to homeless veterans in several wards. Yeah, and I've done that with her, and she asked him, she said, I was wondering what I need to do to get that on the radar of this ward, now that I live here.
Because it's not here.
Yeah.
I know for a fact no one's doing that here.
And he darted his eyes around like he couldn't wait to get out of the conversation with us.
He does not support veterans. He
Yeah.
does not.
That's it. I told her, I was like,
not
Bridget,
support
I saw, he heard the word veteran,
As soon as you hear military,
and
boom.
he was like, oh, move on to the next constituent. How do I move away from these people politely? But yeah, he gave her no answer. Just went back onto the like, he knows me crap.
Right.
And it's like, no, I don't know you.
Yeah, I don't know why he's like that or what's going on with that,
Yeah,
but he will not. I do a lot with the veterans in Rochester, everywhere actually.
and that's
but,
all
yeah.
she wanted to do was pass out a program that she works with. We just want to pass out like toothbrushes and toiletries and, you know,
Right.
like what harm is that doing? Like, I think, is he afraid that
I don't know what it is.
we're inciting them to stay here? He wants to believe this is some, you know, upscale, like, soon-to-be Lincoln Park, which
Well,
it will never
that's
be.
what he's
Yes.
trying for, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's trying for the gentrification.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you look at the Target, you look at like
Oh,
and all that stuff going on over there.
Yeah.
And they're just building it up with these corporations, these large corporations. And if you look at his donor list, it's all developers.
Yeah.
Real estate.
Yeah. I need to take a look at his
And
donor
he's
list.
ahead of that. I was just speaking with he's ahead of that
Yeah.
city council. So, and that's like citywide. So he's getting donations from people who want to come to the city from outside of the city. Out all around the U.S. He's getting all his funds funneled into them because they want the favors. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I am not impressed, and his, I don't know, just what I've seen in his attitude generally towards things, but my personal interactions with him, that was the first one, and I could see it. He does not have a poker face. When she brought up the word helping the veterans, she brought up veterans. He started looking around at who he was going to talk to next. Yeah, I was like, at least if you're going to be a politician, be a good liar.
Right. He can't hold in his emotions. When I walk in the room,
Yeah.
his face turns red.
Really?
Like you see his hand, and this was in his office for participatory budget. He had like the fried chicken and all this little treats and things, and he'd been drinking more than.
Yeah.
And he had all these people around who didn't expect me to come actually with a bunch of seniors. Because we had an issue. We had an issue with them tearing down the community center.
Yes.
Carolyn had some small
Yep.
came in there.
Yeah.
And we were peaceful, and it was supposed to be a community facility, the Joe Board office. And I came around and he was like second largest mom and dad, so he was like facing these people. Then he got rid of these people. He turned us on me, like right there. And so there's like a picture where his face is all red, and he shook my hand. He was trying to squeeze my hand hard
Yeah.
in front of everybody. And he held my hand. He couldn't help but shook my hand. And then he realized that and he squeezed my hand as hard as he could. Nothing. He was squeezing it so hard, his hand was popping, and I didn't feel it. I heard,
And you know he was trying to give
he
the
was
hard
trying so hard,
handshake.
and I was just like, okay. And then he's like, thank you, thank you for coming to my office, Bill Morton. You little bitch. You said everybody.
What?
And he said, get some chicken. Get the hell out of my office. Go get some chicken and get out. He said, everybody. I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's something. And people were just.
Oh, so he wasn't just trying to do the hard handshake and look like presidential or something.
No. This was
He was being rude.
He was trying to squeeze the living crap out of my hand, so I hurt. So I had pain.
God.
And he was hurting himself, and his face was little veins and everything.
Yeah,
and
no, I
then
didn't.
He said, and then Kevin O'Neill took me by the arm, and I was just go, oh, no. You know, because it was just ridiculous. And he took me by the arm, and took me with the arm. He grabbed me by the elbow. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
And I'm not saying this to like make him look bad. He is bad.
You're not telling me anything that surprises me.
Right.
Because like I told you, at first meeting, I did not get a good impression because of the way he treated my friend.
Right.
And and he, insisted he knew me. He's like, no, you've been at another Follow Me Friday. It's like, and at this point, I was like, no, I actually just moved to the neighborhood. Like, Harry Osterman was my,
Right.
you know, my alderman prior to this, who, you know, I've seen him at, like, the Argyle night markets and,
Oh, okay.
you know, not Joe Moore, Harry Osterman.
Okay.
Like, he goes out of his way to
I've heard a
support.
lot of good stuff about Austin.
He's-
How he goes out of the way for ground rep.
Yeah.
He said he invited them over, and then he said, oh, do you want us to move this? I'm sure you're gonna want an outdoor patio, so I'll move this bus stop for you.
Yeah,
Unheard of. And Laura Brown was like, Lord.
Yeah.
She had to tell me, she called me, come over here right now, Bill.
well, and that's like, the restaurant I'm working with now, that's what they're going through, is that Osterman is thrilled with what they want to do. It's the city where the zoning is tied up. The landlord wants them in there, the alderman wants them in there. It's just the red tape of the city. And, you know, and I can understand that with food service, and that's what I've been trying to tell them, is that
Pretty strict.
they want to know strictly, but I told them, I was like, you phrased the business plan wrong. That's what happened.
Right.
You need to go back. If you go back, I really think this will get through.
Right.
Because everyone is supportive of it, especially like that's, you know, Osterman Beach right there. That's Harry Osterman's mother's namesake.
I thought it was his wife.
Is it?
I think it's what, his wife was an alderman, and he was a state rep.
Oh, was she an alderman?
Yeah, and she died of cancer.
She, what?
That's what I heard. I heard she died of cancer. And then when she died, they named the beach after her. And when Perry took over,
She was, that beach was named long before this, but she's actually on a neighborhood Facebook group. Or she was within the last 5 years that I still belong to. Because when people would put things out, she fielded a lot of the information. Maybe it's a second one.
I don't, because that's what I
His
don't know.
kids, his kids went to school with my kids. Yeah, I gotta be honest, and they were small.